Fine, so you're no better off and you're no worse off, but I still haven't given you a reason to do a Roth IRA conversion. I've talked about the limitations, and I've talked about purchasing power. So, in order to determine whether it makes sense to do a Roth IRA conversion or not, we have to think about the future. What's going to happen if we're break even on day 1? What's going to happen on day 2, year 2, year 20? Okay? So what we need to do is we need to do a projection. I'm going to make a projection of Mr. Status Quo. I'm going to say, okay, you have $100,000 in the IRA, and we're going to roll that forward. And we're not going to pay tax on it, except every year that we measure it, we're going to subtract the tax that you would have to pay on it. All right? Then we're going to take the $25,000, the money that we have after taxes, and we're going to continue to invest that, but we're going to have to pay income tax on it every year. You know, whether there's dividends, interest, etc. And I'm actually making a very liberal, that is, relatively low tax calculation, because I'm going to assume that you're going to invest most of it in the stock market, and rather than having big interest income, that you'll have relatively low dividend income, and then every once in a while you'll turn it over. So the tax on the growth of the after-tax money will not be severe in my assumptions. And then I'm going to roll that forward for the next 5, 10, 20 years and even beyond. Okay. Then I'm going to compare that to a Roth IRA, which is income tax-free growth, so we don't have to subtract anything for taxes. All right? And I'm going to roll that forward. All right? And that's actually exactly what I did in the article for the tax advisor. And I had all kinds of graphs and charts and everything else, but to simplify it for you, I'll just put it on one chart, and you can see the result up here. And the result is that somebody who makes the Roth IRA conversion will be better off by the difference between, in effect, this red line, or this red area, and the blue area. And when you look at this, you might say, gee, Jim, that's not all that radical. 20 years after making the conversion of $100,000, I'm only this much better off. Well, this much is $50,000. Okay? You make the Roth IRA conversion now. Mr. Status Quo doesn't. Measured in purchasing power, 20 years later, you're $50,000 better off than Mr. Status Quo. All right? This isn't like life insurance, which is great for your heirs but not good for you. This is good for you. You yourself are going to be $50,000 better off if you make this conversion now than if you do not.